This is After Hours at Large, and I am your host, Dr. Adilaja. For the first season, join me alongside a few house officers in the 2023-2024 batch at the Federal Medical Center Owo and learn what it takes to navigate life as a doctor out of medical school in a place far away from home. Today, I'm joined by someone I'm going to call my bestie. Now, fun fact, I have actually never told you. When I was in secondary school, I had a guardian, Mrs. Osho. She's like my second mommy. And when I got here at the first time, I was like, Osho. This is my mommy's relative. That's why I shouted bestie. But it was being broody or mysterious man. So I had to like comment like. And I think the deal was, if I did not see money, I'm going to argue in public.
Yeah.
They're smiling.
Yeah, so. we had that moment.
Yeah, so introduce yourself. Tell us about yourself.
Hi guys, my name is Osho Obalela. I'm currently the host colleague at work where we are house officers in FMC Owo. And by and large, I finished from College of Medicine Ibadan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, from which state?
I'm from Ogun State actually.
Yeah,
I've always known.
Wow.
So there's that connection, and chances are, although I can't confidently say, chances are I'm related to your guardian. Very possible.
I would ask you since she's out of the country now, but I would ask that.
Yeah, I think you should.
Yeah. So you finished from UI.
Yeah, I did.
Before I even go into how awesome it's like, how was it like in UI? Because I've heard stories.
Okay, it depends. Now it depends on kind of stories that you heard. Because I may not be able to, expatiate like kind of things that you heard. But of course, being in Ibadan was fun. Aside being a medical student, aside learning to be maybe not excellent, but at least learning to be diligent at this. It was also fun. There was a social aspect as well that I still do not regret that I majored in that
social. Very social oriented person. We all have priorities in life, and Osho is very keen on his own social priorities.
So I don't regret that. So in Ibadan, for instance, it's kind of school that affords you, the luxury of being social if you want to be social. And I'm quite grateful that I was one of those who hid in being social.
So why did you come to FLM?
Well, there's a lot of stories and a lot of backstory to that.
Love to see.
I think when I was done, I think before we even finished, a couple of us wanted Lagos because we wanted to improve our social status.
Yeah.
We wanted something more. It felt like, okay, now that we've enjoyed Ibadan, we've usually been to the pubs and the lounges in Ibadan, let's go to Lagos.
Everywhere.
Yeah, let's go to Lagos and see what Lagos would have for us. So we put in, myself and a number of my friends. And fun fact, the year before her year, I think they took in about up to 12 house officers from our school. So we thought it was going to be easy, but that was not to be the case. So we couldn't enter. We sent a lot of them. We dropped CVs and submitted some certificates. But till today, I've not heard from them. So that was that, and that was even before the induction. When it became clear that NHS Lagos was not going to be an option, I started to think of other places. For instance, Babcock. I know Babcock Innovation. Yeah, so I submitted a letter as well, and I was called for interview. But I was almost done with surgery, and surgery was my first posting. I think I was 2 weeks to the end of surgery posting when they called for an interview, but I could not go. FMC was another option. So when portal was opened, there was one time that portal was opened, then overnight there was this whole shout about it being open. When I woke up, it was gone. There were no slots available. So myself and Dr. Bayemi, who, during the course of this conversation, I may be referring to him as Lars, because that's what we know him as.
Yes.
So we had this conversation, and we felt like, okay, don't worry, I'll tell you when Potter is open. So probably just monitor these things together. So Potter, they fixed the date, obviously, then the portal was open, then so yeah. So in Southwest has just 3 hospitals. There was Luke, there was FMC Abeokuta, there was FMC Owo.
Yeah.
So instinct, I just picked Abeokuta. But it was obvious that there were a lot of people picked it, so it was not connecting. Yeah. And then later I brought out the result that someone else had picked it, that I should pick again. And I did again, it was still the same result. And my friend Lars was telling me that there is this Luke here. I said, I just need to about Luke. If we go there, we are going there to die. It's no different from where we literally finished from. Yes. So I just told him, go, let's just see this over 12 months. Let's pick. Yeah, that marked the beginning of our journey too. And I don't think any of us have never been this far. Like we've never traveled this far southwest.
Oh. So, yeah, and there's no like
I heard this.
Yeah.
Your story is rather fascinating. The first time I heard about UNN, I was like, UNN, how did that?
How did I get there?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. It's for knowledge. I was going to apply to UI.
Okay.
And I think now, learning what I know about UI, I am grateful I did not apply to it.
What did you learn about UI? You have a single story of my school. I think you can just say
from what I've heard from our colleagues here and seeing the way they act and the way they talk, I knew that I wouldn't have survived UI. That's one. Yeah. And so the reason I wanted to go to UI was because my grandparents were in Ibadan at the time, but they passed like 2 years in between each other. So I think the grief would have been too much for me
to
handle.
Yeah.
So I'm really pleased at the end of the day that I was in the East. And
I mean, you literally do not have any bad review of UNN.
No, I don't talk about my review because I have mental health issues.
Yeah, okay.
That started when I was in medical school.
Yeah.
So if you need any review of the East, you can see. But the East itself, outside of medical school, amazing place, lovely place. It was an experience. It was fun.
Okay.
Yeah, like Enugu is nice. It's fun. It's like my place. Like I'm in there. I'm home. I know everywhere around. But College of Medicine.
Yeah. We know how colleges of medicine.
I do not recommend.
Okay,
so all the shifts, you're coming from UI, you're social, you're bubbly, you're everywhere. Then you're coming to Owo.
Yeah.
First impression of Owo.
Depressing, actually. It was. First thing was that I was saying to myself, are we not there yet on the road? Because it was an inconvenient journey.
Okay.
Because I had a lot of I had luggage and bags and everything lying on the park. So it was a 5 hours journey, and the driver was rather slow, commercial vehicles. And it was, like I said earlier, it was depressing. And then I go to on a Sunday. Usually it's always not bubbly. Yeah. Now imagine coming in on a Sunday. So I had like a very wrong impression of what it's normally. And then I entered into FMC. It's not so far from the junction. And then it was like a graveyard. Nothing was happening. I just saw a few guys walking, and then I told them that I was going to the doctor's lodge. Then they just pointed me in the direction of the doctor's lodge. So that day in fact it was a hustle, like trying to get food to eat. Trying to get food to eat. I had made arrangements for shelter. That's one thing I always do when I'm traveling. So as not to be stranded, but getting like a good meal to food. It does not necessarily have to be a good meal. Getting something to eat that night was work.
You will quickly learn that was not part of the great Yoruba when it comes to cooking. I will not say more than that.
I think I've
that was not my attack.
Yeah, but I think you can both agree on that. As I'm sure a number of us would agree.
No,
sure.
Yeah, terrible.
Sure. But it's a great town though. I mean, as far as town goes.
Let's drop it a bit. Village.
It's a great village. I still think it's a town. They'll come for you.
My bad.
All right.
So, how easy was it to get accommodation? Did you stay inside your city first, or you stayed outside?
Okay, so it was. I stayed outside for about 48 hours. Yeah, so I was supposed to be outside officially for 6 months.
Yes.
But then having stayed outside for 48 hours, it felt like, and I always still say, like I tell my friends, I always, whenever I have that conversation with Dr. Alfred, I always say, that place should be demolished. That place is not, it's not fit for habitation. I'll continue to, I always continue to say it.
Yeah.
So, after 2 nights in Heritage, I said, no, there's no problem. A colleague of mine was fortunate enough to get accommodation when he came in. So I just joined him. I stayed with him until I was able to get my own place, and I'm actually grateful for that. And that's one thing always given to me, the ability to make great friends that can come through for you.
I think that's one thing. There's a better bond. Like when I just feel like when everybody's at the piece of L,
sure.
Just get to see.
Most especially my set. This was that who came in around the same time.
If who are well known.
How are we?
Echo, Emorani, like
we're
what
well
is that
known
one just start from
you? No, I wasn't even talking about communal. I was talking about the window that brought us in.
Okay, that window, that
more like quote unquote transfer window. I think we're six. There was just one lady and then the rest of us guys. Yeah.
Okay.
But what do we have in common? Do you think we have something in common?
No, it's not like in common, like first guess, because of if I try to look at the population of South Africa, I feel like a greater percentage came from you, right? You and them were just like 3.
Okay, I know 2.
Me, Chioma, and then the third person that does not really talk to anybody.
Okay, yes, I know. Yeah, interesting.
Okay. So how was you said the surgery?
Yeah, I did.
How was it like?
Surgery was fun. I had a lot of dreams. So I started surgery with so much strength. I started with urology posting, and then I was able to one thing about this place is hands-on.
Yes.
So I was able to get my hands to do a lot of things which I enjoyed. But surgery put me down, because it was in surgery that I treated otitis media, upper respiratory tract infection, and malaria, like couple of times. But that aside, I thoroughly enjoyed surgery. I was mostly alone in urology posting, and then for about 2 weeks I was one alone in orthopedics. So I did urology, plastic surgery, orthopedics, and general surgery. And I enjoyed the consultants were great. I had a good relationship with them, and then it was a good learning curve.
Okay, of the 4 of them, which one is like your favorite?
4 of them, orthopedics actually. It looks doable, lucrative as well. I mean, the Nigerian man should always think of the business side of everything.
I mean.
So, yeah, urology too can be, but I think I was there for 2 weeks. So I could not really size things up perfectly.
Was nice. I mean, somebody has an interest in orthopedics now. Is it that all you do is scribe through the most?
Yeah. Patients, it's a lot. One thing, it's a lot. You didn't do orthopedics. So you probably won't be able to touch this with all of those patients. A good number of them were in pain, a lot of pain. So it was a good thing that these combination drugs are in the market, not just paracetamol or that. It's a good thing for them. Yeah.
So after surgery, you went to pediatrics. Okay, we met, by the way. We did general surgery together.
I was in North of when we met. We did a few weeks together in general surgery.
Because Osho just kept asking me, when are you coming to general surgery?
Yeah.
When are we coming to
general surgery? I needed hands in general surgery.
When are you coming to general surgery?
Because I'd just done 2 weeks in, like, first 2 weeks of this, and I did 2 weeks in orthopedics. And in those 2 weeks, we had 11 good surgeries. Because it felt like a lot of people decided to be on the road.
It was around that Christmas time now. Yes, there was a lot of RCA.
They decided to be on the road. So there was one day that, and this is why I like their new policy of having a radiograph before they can, before they can actually honor a consult. You need to have a film with which they are going to, diagnose you. Then there was this, a family of 3 siblings came in the morning with various forms of fractures, open, closed, fibula, whatever. And then we went here, and myself and my registrar. We clicked, we examined, we ordered investigations, only for these people to discharge against mental advice in the evening. I'm sure the HOF knows a great deal about this story. So I mean, also was challenging, but then I loved everything about the autonomy that they have.
Also penance was like away from
Yes,
forgery,
yeah, and that I was having that conversation with someone. I can't remember, but recently I told someone that you enter into this hospital and you don't know there's something called orthopedics. Because it seems as if they are outcast.
The same thing with bone clinic. Like
yeah, the same thing with bone clinic. You won't know it. That's a good thing for them.
Then after surgery, you went pediatrics.
Yes, I was in pediatrics.
Again, Osho begged me when I used to pediatrics.
Yeah, I always beg people.
Osho likes Kumakoyomura, just like family.
Yeah, sure. I always want people to be, to be in the same position.
Yeah, people that
people
that you are used to do.
People that I'm used to. And partly was because I had great working experience with you guys, and that was one thing. I'm not sure if I have like one or two reservations about someone. I'm not sure. I usually just warm up with the person and be like, when are you coming? Because I know you are coming to do me because of work. Yeah. But a number of you, like quite a number of you guys, I was always like, for instance, I've been disturbing therapy since last month. When are you coming? Because the guy has a lot of stuff and I just enjoy when he moves his stuff. He works hard. We are not all wired the same.
Yeah, that's true.
We need to be able to, come to that reality. And I'm always okay with this stuff. Once we have that conversation.
Charity as
yeah,
I mean, in general surgery, I'm always waiting for him to stop because I'm going to laugh.
I always enjoy moving stuff with him. The top guy.
So in pediatrics, that was it like for you?
So pediatrics was also a kind of person that I still had energy. I still actually knew that I was going to pull through within myself. And pediatrics was, most people see pediatrics as a difficult posting. Pediatrics was difficult in my school. So coming here, it was more of a downgrade, so to say. So I wasn't. It was obviously was less toxic, and then the kind of people that we worked with. So it was a great learning experience as well, because they would teach and then you would present, and then the pediatric stuff. The past pediatrics in my school was a lot. So I still had that residual knowledge. It was always easy, and I could, I can't, off the top of my head, I can't confidently remember one day that I go to pediatrics and I get backwards and I cannot on it. I almost always will find something to say. So aside the procedures, like those procedures are just the only thing that anybody should not like. I'm sure even our guys, they don't like procedures because the number of time you spend trying to just do the puncture for a child is a lot.
Okay, so very weird. I feel like setting lines for children is very relaxing for me.
Yeah, but it's not always.
It's not sure that you get it though.
Yeah, it's not.
It's like I will still be there and struggling with the baby. I
think there was one weekend call you and I did together and we got our line. Yes. We did not have to refer.
Yeah, and there was even a particular baby out of our person. I finished calling pediatrics. I was doing. I think the mother had seen me in pediatrics or something. Okay. So she told me and she said, doctor, please come and tell my baby's name. I was like, I don't know. They just missed the word there. And then I was begging, please come. So I got there. The baby just finished the surgery, brain surgery.
Oh, okay.
So the line was out, no painkillers, so the child was uncontrollable.
Yeah.
And mom was begging me. I sat down with this line. The other doctor in neurosurgery came to join me, and we were there. I tried. And that's one time I said, you will sit down. I tried.
Yeah.
The other doctor tried. Then the last time I held the baby hand, and I was like, I started singing songs.
Okay. Gospel.
I just like that point. You could just remember saying God.
Yeah.
I just started singing. And initially I just saw one tiny vein. I didn't know the beginning or the end of that vein, but that vein was tiny. I was like, it's God that showed me this vein. And that line went for like a week. That line was there. It didn't go. The mother, anyway she sees me, she's like, thank you. Yeah. And I used to say I didn't like children.
Well, when was that? Pit medical ward?
Pit surgical ward.
And
I used to say I didn't like children. That was the first start actually for me. Yeah. Because anytime baby saw me like this, always happy.
It was a good thing you did for the child because the last resort is to just find the housing, but at least
and they could not, because if the child had stubborn head dressing and everything, it's just coming up from his own surgery. So.
Wow, that must have been fulfilling for you.
I'm serious. Like, that was the eye I got from that.
Yeah.
I rode on it for days. Yeah. Like, any small, I cannot get land. I was like, well, that.
Yeah.
Stop. Let me get that.
And I thoroughly enjoyed pediatrics. I'm not gonna lie. I enjoyed M&M as much as 10.
It was.
Yeah, it was. I really enjoyed M&M. I always was always good at that. I always have something to say. Something about me, and I had this confidence that sort of grew over the weeks, and it was so high, and I felt like I'm going to say this thing the way it is.
I think
not that good.
There was a learning curve for me. I used to think, because when I was coming for surgery, the consultant there, like, they don't throw you under the bus, and like, I saw it throw me under the bus in pediatrics, and I had to like level up and just change. Like, I didn't get that amount. But at some point, I learned something in the presentation that if there's an accident, you must mention mechanism of accident. And there was a very particular one. Like, as well as provided, I was like, mechanism of injury. I would say it out loud to you. Yeah. Then I started asking questions. What did I ask? Are you panicking? What was mechanism of injury? Even I said, I don't know. But like, she even mentioned it so that we would know that she has said it.
Yeah.
Like, that was one thing I really loved. So, there was one thing you did in pediatrics that I really liked. You wrote a list of all the drugs that they gave.
Okay.
And the doses.
Yeah.
What inspired you to do that? Why did you do something like that?
Oh, well, I think part of it was the kind of love that I had for, pediatrics. And I found it challenging initially, the doses, and I found it like, I did not just want to keep bugging the, our seniors. I just felt like coming up with a plan and just drawing out. I had seen some lists prior, but I just had to include other medications as well. So, I think it worked for a number of people.
Yeah,
so
it is.
Off the top of our head,
you sent it to me. I just know the doses.
Off the top of our head, we could remember the common ones. Yeah, and that was it.
Okay, so after pediatrics, you went to one.
Yeah.
How was it like?
It was I think for 1G, I was almost always tired. I began to picture, this moment, this time,
the end of
time that I'm living. I did not entirely enjoy 1G. Even though I'm someone who, even when things are not in our favor, even when an environment is hostile, this is not even to say that the environment was hostile. But of course,
it's not to say.
Maybe not to me. But of course, I always try to find my own way of enjoying a person, and I did that perfectly. So I was not entirely moved.
Okay.
And again, I had great relationship with a couple of our bosses, and Dr. Adedeji, the registrar, was from my school.
Okay, just really such an angel.
Yeah, he's an actual boss. Someone I looked up to when I was there, and he was always putting me through, and I did not even like hearing him that much. I think what I did was that person I didn't open any book to read because I was not interested. Yeah.
So I went to Akure after you.
Okay.
And when I still got there, everybody was asking for Dr. Osho.
Really? This is the first time you're telling me this. You could have told me this before now.
No. So now I want to ask, what is that thing that does it for you, like with relationship, relating with like senior colleagues, non-doctors, other health workers? What's that thing how did you figure it out that people still like remember you on a positive note, on a good note, like, oh, Osho is this, Osho is
that? So I'm never really conscious about these things. I don't put conscious effort into my day-to-day relationship with people, maybe people that I know, people I'm meeting for the first time. It's just something that has been, maybe I should say, deeply ingrained in me. Right from when I was small. I was probably brought up to respect everyone, which is why I do not always get myself involved in a lot of mess with other our sister professions. Because it's a lot. This thing is multidisciplinary. So and it's one thing that I'm beginning to dislike it about myself. The fact that I can't literally just pick up without feeling bad.
Mm.
You can't speak up and say, no, you should do this thing. No, you actually should not talk to me with this tone. So, people think, I think I was having that conversation with Adeniji the other day. He said I don't look like someone that can't actually stand my ground without feeling bad.
You don't. Again, you have this burden.
Yeah.
Going on.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there was a time Lizzie came to me and she was like, I don't even understand. So it just used to squeeze this up and that. And I was like, Osho, is it marshmallow? I'm like, get to know him. Start talking to him.
As I'm sure you basically found out yourself. It's a mechanism for me. It's a mechanism because you just can't warm up to me anyhow. For instance, because I was telling Ogundano that once you come in, it becomes hard for me to say no. So it's better if you just have you like outside and then you're looking at me and not be
like it's once you just notice that all this big boy, all this is just a facade. Also, is a softy.
Yeah.
So that's how you warm up yourself differently.
So in Akure, I would just always greet people generally and respect them. I'll just have the Yoruba boy that I am and hope that they don't get to disrespect me. So that's one thing that always works for me.
So you're really sure like you don't understand the girl that's really bad?
No,
you want lessons? I can teach you.
Yeah, maybe behind camera would teach me.
I would
still always feel bad. That's something I cannot help. I still feel bad. So I always need the likes of this work so that you can tell people to you can put people in their places.
There was a particular story that happened that anytime I see this case, that's why me and Dr. Ige, general surgery, anytime he sees me, he just call my name. I did like that.
Okay.
Me and Dr. Inde were the assistants in urology.
Okay.
So then that's my second week of urology, the first week of urology.
Okay.
We've seen our patients in the ward. We have to go to A&E. The patient needed a catheter or something like that, but she removed the catheter. Something like that, sir. So we're going to A&E. Dr. Ide dropped his number. So they called him that, come and remove this. We tried to explain to them. So take a sample. So we tried to explain to them, oh, sorry, we are going to the emergency. When we are done with it, we'll come straight to the ward to take the sample. And they kept calling, kept disturbing. And by the time I got in, I entered the ward. I didn't even need consultant or anybody was around. And I just went in and I talked, like I said my mind. Like one thing I learned how to do was just speak my mind and try to be respectful. Like my primary intention is not to be respectful, but I really try as much as possible to be respectful and I tell my mind. And by the time I was done and the patient apologized, the next thing I heard Dr. Ige shouted, Adilaja.
He was probably proud that you
it was like he knew that I was like one thing I know about me that if anybody would stand their ground, I would, even though I am shaking my voice. And I think that happened with one of the consultants in pediatrics. I was having a panic attack and I was still standing my ground. Like my arms were really shaking. I was like really having a panic and I refused to go. At some point they had to tell me, you know your health cannot carry this room. How are you? And I'm like, no, this one I must say it. And after that, the consultant actually did apologize, and we became very good friends after that. So,
I think I left already.
Yeah, you've gone by then. You've gone by then. But that all left pediatrics. I did it so well that they just gave me.
Okay,
So I really enjoyed pediatrics.
I think
that's my favorite person.
Pediatrics and surgery, it's hard to tell.
It's really hard to tell which one is.
Surgery, we're always around. Nevertheless, I still enjoy surgery.
So after you're now in medicine.
Yes, I'm now in medicine.
Final posting.
Yeah, final posting.
How many weeks do you have left?
I think about 4 weeks, 4 working weeks.
4 weeks. Yeah. So how is medicine like?
About medicine, it's been chilled. I started medicine with cardiology, and cardiology arguably is one of the busiest units in the whole of the hospital. So I did not understand what people were saying about medicine being a chilled process. So that was 1 month of a lot of work. We had to do a lot of work. We were always getting the most consults during working hours. So we even work into call hours, normal call hours. So it was tough. And then I just got a breather second month I was in endocrinology. The people were not, I guess people were not even saying much of me. There was a time you came and I had the idea you already, I had the idea you already started the posting and you said, did I travel? I said, no, I've been around. It's just not been saying me. That, so endocrinology afforded me time to do a lot of personal things. And then I was able to come to calls, relax and refresh.
Okay.
Yeah, and then I think medicine is actually that person that they say. So, yeah, I think it's
How do you feel about medicine? Like, apart from the chilled environment, does it have the same excitement?
with
Surgery
the other
and
person.
oh,
Well, the general saying goes that it's not as lucrative as the other specialties. That's what they say. But I mean, I've been here for months now, and I've actually come to terms with the fact that I think they too they know what they are doing. They know what they are doing. They can actually earn. Case in point, Dr. Lau, he always says this thing. In money review, I mean, I'm sure you heard
yeah,
him once
it's
or
always
twice.
advertising.
Yeah, so
medicine.
I mean, which is a good thing. A consultant physician, like selling his own stock, selling on house officers that this is where we should come to, which is not, which by the way, other departments did not do, and he's always present during morning reviews, and then he explains stuff to us, he knows stuff to us, he makes a lot of sense, like he just moves out failure and management of out failure, and a couple of days ago.
I don't retain anything.
Yeah, so but you were just in. I know you were just in because I wrote a few things in your notes. So fast forward to yesterday, I think about 3 a.m. One patient came into the emergency and then it was congestive tire failure. I just have to reel out. I just reeled out the plan. So kudos to Dr. Lau. Yeah, okay. I don't know if you ever get to listen to this.
Yeah.
I mean, I was able to successfully, stabilize some of that failure because
yeah, that's really nice. So now, aside the medicine part, how were you able to manage community? Like this place, what is it like working with other people?
Okay, so I mostly worked with the people who came in during that window. I'll say a transfer window, put an unquote. Because my people from Ibadan, and then I met really great individuals, especially guys from Lagos, Onoja and Fitumo. Those 2 guys from Lagos, I still have like working relationships with them, and then it clicked. It was not something that we forced.
Yeah.
So I really enjoy working with those 2, and maybe I'm sure they would probably get to listen to this podcast. So this is just them. Faith was solid. Faith was solid when we were in Akure. And I'm just going to say this: I'm not sexist, but once that conversation comes up, similar stuff that I work, everybody knows. Faith is my go-to. Faith is my go-to person. I can easily call her. She can call me if something needs to be done. And then doing Akure together, she pushed and she was saying, no, we should probably not do it and a big call. Like if there is something interesting that is going on, you need to tell me. I cannot miss out. I just have. So we just saw the 14th day posting in Akure as our own way of leveling up. And I think we did, because in Akure we were even under Dr. Ibadan where we did. Yeah, by the way, shout out to Dr. Ibadan and Dr. Delia Solabi. We were able to do things ourselves, hands-on. And then when we came here, MBA was not so hard for us to do. Dr. Adebayo just called her and said, did I not issue this thing in Akure? Go and do it. And then she called me and then we were able to ask her. So, Onoja as well, is someone who, myself and him, we made a lot of sacrifices for each other. Yeah, so, there were times where he would take my call. In pediatrics, he literally took a weekend call so I could be in Ibadan to focus on my social life business. And then I was although I had taken some calls just so I could, but it's not easy for someone to do 48 hours call. So that's something that is not really talked about. And it's something if he's listening now, I just want him to know that. That's kind of gesture that I appreciate. Yeah, and that's that.
Okay, you have a brand thing you do.
Yeah.
Is branding the proper way to describe it?
Well, yeah, you could.
And it's more of a socialite kind of happy promotion, talk promotion. I'm getting it. That's like the idea about my head. How do you balance that with medicine? I know you've been doing that right from your
Right
medical
from,
school.
yeah, right
So how
from
do you
the
balance that with medicine? And also, it's 5 hours too,
oh,
not
cool.
to and fro.
Yeah. 5 hours too.
To Ibadan.
Yes.
How do you balance that?
Okay, so maybe just a little promotion. So what we do, a number of us, we're just medical practitioners who, even when we're in school, we sort of just took joy in, gathering and just having fun. And then along the line, we thought, okay, it looks like we are good at this. We should perhaps just bring other people on board. They do not necessarily have to be part of the planning, but they just, they should come and have fun and network. That was what they said, West Side Ibadan. And then we've been doing it for ourselves. I think we've had 5 editions since we kicked off September last year at the proper actual outdoor event. Before then, we were doing a lot of house parties within some apartments. And then, with school, it was not so much of a problem because medical school, I would always go to, it was not clashing. Yeah, I would always go to school. Even in Ibadan, there were times where we would have to be in school up until evening, at least in the evening, but the school was not clashing. There were times where I'd have to, when exams are coming, obviously, we just close all things, event planning, and then focus on our exams. Yeah, and here it's just usually when I'm not on call, for instance, I think about 2 days ago, around this time, we're having a meeting. We're having a meeting online, and it was for about 2 hours. Those are the things that we do. So
You just walk around.
yeah, you just walk around, and then I've made sacrifices, that just like what I did with Onoja and what it did for me. I was able to go there. That was one of the sacrifices. And then it's not easy being on the road. I actually would be on the road in the morning at about 8 a.m. and I get to Ibadan, see 12:01, and then you just get into the thick of things, and then I leave the event because I usually leave the event around 2. I don't finish with them, and then I go to my friend's house. 7, I'm back at the park. Then I'm back here. Monday, I'm at work like nothing happened.
So, how many trips did you take to Ibadan?
Okay, so I think I lost count. I think I lost count because Ogudano would always tell me, Ibadan is far, but I don't miss it for anything.
Okay.
I literally was in Akure, and I just saw the calendar, and someone told me Monday is free, Tuesday is free. I said, what is that? He said, Iliya. I said, Iliya Loto. I just told my boss, I said, I think I'm going to Ibadan from here. And then I went to Ibadan. Just to go and eat salami and then see my friends' faces. And then I was back. So I think, to put it mildly, I've probably been to Ibadan six times during the course of this house. Yeah.
Also, I think it's very important to know that this our happy traveler is scared of snappers.
Yeah, I am.
Osho will tell you, man was swallow.
I am.
Go to the park. You just say, go to the park. Don't enter.
Things are ridiculously tough. How much is our salary? So you begin to know that once you are in captive, So I mean, it's a sad case. It's a sad case for those. We know our people in our professions who have been victims of this shenanigans, and some are probably still in captive, and our heart goes out to their families.
Pray for their safety.
Yeah, we do. Can't wait to have them back in the profession. Can't wait to have them back in the profession. Yeah.
Okay. So, do you have any inclination to any specialty?
Yes. Now it depends. Being a Nigerian doctor is tough. You have to put in a lot of things.
Yeah.
So there's no way I'll be in Nigeria and do internal medicine. I don't think that's going to work for me.
Okay.
I think being in Nigeria would mean being able to do things with my hands, and I can be able to put in a lot of personal private practice, APP. I think that's one thing that I'm going to do if I'm in Nigeria. So now the specialty now ranges between medicine and obstetrics and gynecology that I do not like.
Okay.
But if I were to travel, for instance, in the US, which is not totally out of place, I begin to consider internal medicine because it's not easy to. I don't even have the number that would guarantee like placement in surgical residency. So those are if I were to travel, I'd probably consider cardiology, interventional cardiology. I think I've told them a number of friends about it. And cardiology has stuff like it's really really interesting. As far as internal medicine goes, cardiology is an interesting specialty. But if I were to stay put in Nigeria, I just do surgery, orthopedics or something. Yeah.
Actually, so you are not really that committed to this.
No, I'm not. But I have with age comes certain responsibilities. So I might be able to. I think that I would be dragged out, which is a good thing for me. I may not know now.
Okay.
Yeah, but if it comes true, I'm definitely leaving. But Nigeria is fun for someone with social such as myself. I just want to be. Are you doing in Nigeria? No, there's a lot of fun here.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just the money that we do not have. Those who have money know that they cannot do some of the things that they do here abroad. So in a club, for instance, you can say you want to go extra mile here. You can say you want to put an unquote or press, but there I guess everyone buys shirts. So exactly. Yeah, and you know someone like me, who actually is part of socialite. It's it's always good to be in Nigeria. Fun part. Actually, I don't want to be the kind of doctor that just goes 1 week I'm there, the next week I want to come back here because of one event or because of I want to have fun. So those are the things that a lot of thinking, mental gymnastics would go into this decision.
I think we've had a conversation before about money and how or what is good to save money.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, 4 weeks to the end of the hour. Do you think you've saved enough money?
Yeah, well, enough is relative because for me, I in a day I always and I've not told anybody this, but I've actually never really told myself something personal, like personal gift. I think you are now job. I probably just changed phones. That was one thing I did. Okay. Yeah, I did not footwear I didn't change, clothes I did not change, muffins I did not change, resources I did not change. But of course it was just the phone and stuff. But I always kind of things that I do, I always use money to, end goal to find other means. And then I was able to save in our job. Like long story, cut it short. I was able to save in our job. But the kind of expenses that are already like hovering over my head is not going to cut it. So let's just cut the cap. The thing is this, the having Nigerian doctor cannot write this foreign exam. Not even plan. You still need for your parents to sell some plots of land for you to be able to write this exam. So it's a hopeless situation. And I just hope things get better. But it does not look like things are going to get better. I mean, the pain is at the end of things. It's at the end of that.
One try.
Yeah. One try.
Because I think there was a recent thing that how did we get here? And someone was like, generally they asked how we get to destination. My fans they play.
Nobody should say how did we get here. We all know how we got here.
Yeah. People should not be even telling us how did we get here.
I mean, I saw a post where one guy tweeted, he was saying that T-Pain during the campaign season was shaking. That between T-Pain and us, who is now shaking. The tremulousness is, you can see, I put like everything, people are shaking. Yeah. Just hope we don't start convulsing.
Okay, another thing I want to ask is, what about relationships? Like romantic, casual, were you able to have any of that in this? No. Focus on the grind.
What grind? The money?
There's
and I both know there's no money. But no, not
why?
Because I probably have my simple. I did not make it public, but you understand. I didn't make it public, but I said that, and that is what should happen ideally. So so no room for romance. It seemed, I'm sure a lot of people would have felt that was probably going on, but no, yeah, I just had great relationships with you guys, and I'm grateful for that.
Okay. So I'll probably end it now with I've been asking very random questions at the end of this, like what's the right color?
Mine, mauve, yeah, mauve.
Hey, I used to say men know red, blue, green.
Yeah.
They like to know those lilac, more, more.
Yeah, because I'm not sure my induction pictures. I'm not sure any one of you. I'm not sure I've showed any one of you.
Okay.
So it's not a primary color per se.
I'm just trying to talk about how fun it is that you know what is.
Yeah,
and you can differentiate it too.
Yeah, it's a good thing.
Yeah. In a day, yeah. If you want to spend money on food, how would you like?
In a day?
Yes. Average day. How much do you spend on food?
Okay, so today so far I spent. Okay, today being Sunday, maybe I should probably not use today to judge, because today I spent about 5,200 today on a daily. I think it's how long?
Do you cook at all?
No, I do not make my own.
Can you cook at all?
To save my life, probably to cook something fancy. No. During your last person as well, I mean, do I get to ask you a question?
Hey.
Okay, so how was it for you? I mean, I know you look like someone who's going to get a lot of people's names. So how was it for you? How was your travels, and then how was it like?
I didn't want to come to the southwest again. I wanted to move from the southeast to south. My parents were like, no, I have to come back home.
Okay.
So I came to the southwest, and I just go. Okay. I was supposed to come here with a friend, but she ended up going to Ido, and I'm here. Then when I started with new research, and I had to tell the consultant that, sir, I have a mental illness, and I think it was one of the people that just kind of understood. There was no symptom then. Like, I was not having like constant panic attacks or anything, but I just explained to him. Then I had like a couple of just 1 or 2 panic attacks, but I was good out okay until I entered pediatrics. Then the first week in pediatrics, I was having a panic attack every single day. Yeah. So by Friday of pediatrics, Dr. BD was like, go to NHIS clinic. Like, it makes no sense that you've been here for 1 week and every single day you are looking worse than the day before, and you cannot even stand or be here. So I went to NHIS, then I was referred to psychiatry. But that was my first rodeo in being in psychiatry, so I'd already been used to it. And in pediatrics, like, they were very, very supportive, very, very helpful. I needed to go to clinic, I needed to go for therapy. Yeah, but just take all you need to get better. And they were very, very helpful. And I was also happy, like, I came here because the psychiatrists here are really nice. Like, in the clinic, outside the clinic, anywhere they see me, they are making sure I'm okay. My therapist is very amazing. That man, very amazing. I just feel like that. And I was able to get all the help and all the support. In fact, when I didn't know how to like explain to them in pediatrics, the consultant in neurosurgery, Dr. Yemolade, went to them and meet Dr. Jagede to explain to him that because one thing I've learned about myself is that there are times where my health will fail me. And it looks as if I don't want to do anything. Yeah. So I try as much as possible that when I'm okay, when I can walk, I go over and beyond. So the moment I can't do something, you not think, you'll probably be like, yeah. And that's like one thing I hold on to everywhere I go. Like, when I'm in a strong mind, I do my work very well, that there will be no room. Yeah.
Which is why I think a lot of us I should probably speak in your defense. A lot of us can attest to the fact that, you actually put your job first. You do your job and you do them well. You're one of the diligent house officers that I've worked with, and it's just that when the breakdowns, like when stress becomes too much, and then we begin to see those things, I feel like we are beginning to break down. Just take time, and then, but barring the stress factors, you were superb, which is a good thing. So I don't think you should in any way feel bad when you don't do your job because of the stress.
It's a getting used to, it's a really getting used to, because from medical school and everything, like I've seen people not want to be friends with me. I've seen relationships crumble and everything.
Yeah.
And the amount of support and encouragement I get here, especially in pediatrics, it was enormous. Like it was overwhelmingly positive. Then I got to O&G and I mentioned, okay, this is a thing, and they didn't see it as a thing. Like they could not, like the SR, it's just a couple of the SRs that Olaopa, Salako, like just a couple of them that would understand what's going on. But there are other ones that they don't, there's one particular one that just takes it as a joke. Like he doesn't want, there was a day I was having a serious attack. I was presenting and the attack started doing the presentation. And Dr. Dr. went to me and he was like, what's happening? I was like, I'm having a panic attack because I was already crying and everything. And now they had to admit into the emergency. The next day I was at work. Even after saw me and she was like, you were in emergency yesterday, or you were on admission, or came to check.
Yeah.
And so she went to go and tell Dr. Oguro and the other person was my unit. I went to tell Dr. Oguro, the other person that I know she's being stubborn. And the doctor was like, oh, when you want emergency, she was on medication, okay, and this is like, she doesn't know how to take care of herself.
Yeah.
And she was really mad. Like, I'm trying to explain to you that your house officer is going through something. I had said that she's just being stubborn. And so O&G was not really a really nice, great space for me. But even my consultant really was kind. Dr. Grunty was kind. There was a time one of the consultants that was trying to like and everything. And one day my consultant had to tell him, stop. You don't know what's wrong with her, so stop. The Dr. Clark was very nice. Like, I had a breakdown, I was screaming at a patient, and he called me after, and I explained to him, and he was like, okay, if you have a panic attack, don't come to work, just take time off. But he now went on leave, so I could not stand on anything negative. But there are few people that have been so nice and so kind to me, and I've gotten a lot better. My mental health has been
thumbs up.
That's been so nice and better than that's been a balance. And again, community. I've never had this close, like people that I know that that's when you leave. God is sure for me.
Yeah. But socialite was still something that we did not all have until I think the last two postings, my social life picked a bit. I was making way for myself where there was literally no way. So the last few weeks have been great because myself and Yusuf who like we never actually felt we were going to click. We just sort of clicked and then we've shared a few drinks together. It looks like it's kind of person who's as social as I am. So Kegbe as well. I think it gave Jane too. So
Kegbe is innocent. We are opposite door neighbors. I know this improve. So it has been a very fun experience. There was a time I was talking to Gidano and I was like, this place has been such a different and really supportive environment for me that I am not sure when I leave here this can be replicated. And I'm really, really scared that when I leave, I'm going to like be worse off or not better.
Okay.
And he was like, babe, you didn't stress yourself to get here. Like, it clicked. Like, just chill. You're an amazing person to be with. And hearing that back is a lot because sometimes you don't feel great. Sometimes you don't feel amazing because sometimes I'm thinking, oh, I'm a burden to people. Like, something happened, everybody's running around. Like, it's just a lot to think with. But in this place, with people that I work with, once I'm close to, I don't have to think of that. Like, sometimes in money review, if I just do like as if I'm okay like this, it's like we just actually move. I didn't just like everybody's like trying to look out and so cute. I think
you have I don't think you should worry about moving forward. It was seamless clicking with us here. Which is why I feel like anywhere you go to, people are going to accept you for who you are. It's common knowledge.
That's reassuring.
So just be you.
Yeah, and thanks for like asking asking a question.
Yeah, you're welcome. I felt like I needed to throw one in. I was getting all of the questions.
Oh, fine, but again, this is my podcast.
Since when have you been doing?
Okay, so this is not my first podcast. I used to have one in medical school.
Okay.
Other people choose. But this one, this after a while, this first season is mainly for how to start FMC or work. So that after our job, at least everybody will have a piece or a remembrance of the time.
Yeah. Okay, so I should perhaps just give shout out to every house officer that I've had the great luxury of working with. You guys were enormous. Because it was great working with you guys. All the memories we shared will continue to linger, and my wish that lines continue to fall perfectly for you guys.
All right, guys. Thank you very much. So until the next episode. Bye.